She walked straight out of the trees, a German shepherd with tired eyes and a tiny puppy in her mouth. Gently placing it in the little girl's lap, she sat down and cried. What happened next stunned everyone who saw it. Before we start, make sure to hit like, share, and subscribe. And really, I'm curious, where are you watching from? Drop your country name in the comments. I love seeing how far our stories travel. The late afternoon sun bathed the park in golden light, casting long, gentle shadows across the grass. Lily sat on the edge of a wooden bench, her legs swinging idly above the ground. The air was filled with the distant sound of children playing and the rustle of leaves swaying in the breeze. She was lost in her own thoughts, watching a pair of butterflies dance above the flowers nearby. From the corner of her eye, she noticed movement, a German shepherd stepping slowly out from behind a cluster of trees. Her coat was dusty, her gait careful, and in her mouth, she carried something small. Lily leaned forward, curiosity blooming in her chest. The dog approached with quiet determination, her eyes fixed on Lily as if she had chosen her for a purpose. When she reached the bench, she lowered her head and gently placed a tiny, squirming puppy into Lily's lap. The warmth of its small body startled her, but the moment she looked down, the puppy's dark eyes met hers, and she couldn't help but smile. The German shepherd sat back, watching intently, her breathing slow and steady, as though she were waiting for Lily to understand why she had come. Lily's fingers instinctively curled around the tiny pup, its soft fur warm against her skin. She could feel the rapid thump of its heartbeat, a rhythm both fragile and full of life. "Hi there, little one," she whispered, her voice gentle, as she cradled it closer to her chest. The German shepherd stayed only a few feet away, her gaze never leaving Lily. Her ears were tilted slightly back, not in fear, but in a quiet, cautious watchfulness. It was as though she was studying Lily's every move, measuring her response. A few people passing by slowed their steps, curious at the unusual sight, but no one intervened. Lily glanced up at the dog and smiled softly. "Is this your baby?" she asked, though she knew the answer. The pup gave a tiny yawn before nestling its head under her arm, trusting her instantly. Something about that trust made Lily's chest tighten. The dog inched a little closer, her paws pressing lightly into the grass. For a long moment, they simply stared at each other, one pair of eyes deep and brown with years of wisdom, the other wide and green with the innocence of youth. Neither spoke, but somehow they understood. Up close, Lily noticed details she hadn't before. The German shepherd's fur was rough in patches, as if she'd been sleeping outdoors for some time. Her ribs showed faintly beneath her coat, and her eyes, warm yet heavy, carried a weariness that spoke of long days and longer nights. She sat with her tail curled protectively around her paws, every muscle still, except for the slight tremble in her chest. The dog's gaze shifted from Lily to the puppy nestled in her arms, then back again. Slowly, she rose and stepped closer, lowering her head until her nose brushed the child's knee. It wasn't a request for the pup back. If anything, it felt like she was offering her something precious. Lily could sense it in the careful way the dog moved, in the almost pleading glimmer in her eyes. Then came the nudge, a gentle, deliberate push of the dog's nose against Lily's hand, followed by a quick glance toward the far end of the park. It was subtle, but clear. She wanted Lily to follow. The pup squirmed softly, letting out a small whimper that matched the unspoken urgency in its mother's eyes. Lily's fingers tightened slightly around the puppy. She didn't know why, but she felt as though the dog was trusting her with a secret, a silent cry for help that only she could answer. And in that moment, Lily decided she couldn't just sit there. Something was wrong, and she needed to find out what. Lily glanced around the park, searching for an adult who might know the dog, but no one stepped forward. Parents chatted near the playground. Joggers passed by without slowing. And yet it felt as though this moment existed only between her, the puppy in her arms, and its watchful mother. The German shepherd took a few steps backward, her paws silent. Against the grass, she stopped, looking over her shoulder at Lily with an expression that almost seemed human, half hope, half urgency. Then she turned and began walking toward the line of trees at the park's edge. Lily stood slowly, cradling the puppy close to her chest. Its tiny heartbeat thudded against her arm, quickening when the distance between them and its mother grew. That was all the encouragement she needed. She followed. The dog moved at a steady pace, pausing every few yards to check that Lily was still behind her. The puppy whimpered softly, and each sound seemed to make the mother quicken her steps. As they left the sunlight of the open park for the shade of the trees, Lily's curiosity deepened into something else, a quiet sense that she was about to see something she would never forget. The air grew cooler beneath the canopy of trees, and the sound of the park faded until all Lily could hear was the crunch of leaves under her shoes. The German Shepherd led her down a narrow, overgrown path, stopping suddenly at a small clearing. There, tucked beneath a fallen tree and sheltered by brush, lay 3 more puppies. They were huddled together, their tiny bodies pressed close for warmth. Their fur was matted, their movements sluggish, and their soft whimpers barely reached Lily's ears. The mother walked straight to them, nosing each one gently before glancing back at Lily. In that instant, Lily understood. The pup she'd been given wasn't a gift, it was a plea. The mother had carried her strongest, healthiest puppy into the open, hoping it would find someone kind enough to follow. This was where she had led Lily, back to the rest of her fragile family. Lily's throat tightened as she knelt beside them, placing the pup from her arms back among its siblings. The mother immediately curled herself protectively around all 4, her eyes locking on Lily's with a mixture of relief and desperation. It was as if she was silently saying, "You found us. Please help us." Lily's hands trembled as she reached for her phone. She quickly dialed her mother, her voice urgent and breathless. "Mom, you need to come to the trees at the edge of the park. Bring Dad, and please hurry." She kept her eyes on the mother dog, afraid that if she looked away, the fragile family might disappear. Minutes later, her parents arrived there, expressions shifting from confusion to shock as they took in the sight. Her father crouched to inspect the puppies while her mother knelt beside Lily, gently placing an arm around her shoulders. "You did the right thing, sweetheart," she whispered. They wasted no time. Her father called the local animal rescue, explaining the situation and giving directions. While they waited, her mother poured water from a bottle into a shallow container. The German Shepherd sniffed it cautiously before lapping it up, pausing only to nudge her puppies closer. Lily stayed by her side, speaking softly, letting her know she wasn't alone. For the first time, the dog's tense posture began to ease. She no longer looked like she was guarding her pups from the world. She looked like she was starting to trust it again. The wail of a siren in the distance signaled the arrival of help. Moments later, a white rescue van pulled up near the park's edge, and 2 rescuers made their way down the path with blankets and carriers in hand. The German Shepherd stood alert but didn't back away. Her eyes stayed fixed on Lily. The rescuers moved slowly, speaking in calm tones. They wrapped each puppy in a soft blanket, placing them gently into the carriers. When it came time for the mother, she hesitated only briefly before stepping inside, her gaze still locked on the little girl who had followed her. As they carried the dogs back to the van, Lily walked beside them, her heart heavy yet hopeful. She knew they were heading towards safety. And in that quiet walk, the bond between her and the German Shepherd felt unspoken, but unbreakable. Weeks later, Lily visited the rescue center. The moment she stepped inside, the German Shepherd lifted her head, recognition sparking instantly in her eyes. She trotted over, tail wagging slowly, and pressed her forehead gently into Lily's hand. The puppies, now healthy, plump, and full of playful energy, tumbled around their mother's legs. Lily laughed softly, crouching to greet them all. No words were exchanged, but the warmth in the dog's gaze said everything. It wasn't just gratitude, it was trust, love, and a promise never forgotten. And as Lily hugged her, she knew that this moment would stay with her forever.